My student John is a fifth grade English language learner. He was born in the U.S. He grew up speaking Spanish at home. His parents do not know English. He was exposed to English a little in early childhood, but he didn't fully start learning it until kindergarten. At home, Spanish is still the only language spoken. All TV shows are watched on the Spanish channel. John says he watches a lot of soccer with his dad. His dad stays home and takes care of him and his younger brother, who is in kindergarten. John's mom is a manager at a supermarket called El Super. John has a very big family who he gets together with quite frequently, and they enjoy each other's company. John has been learning English since kindergarten, and he speaks very well. He also does well in school, and I notice him helping other students a lot. Even though his parents can't always help him, they encourage him to complete his homework. I think John would really benefit from culturally responsive instruction because I believe he would respond to it in a very positive way. I think that if John can relate to his work and compare it with ideas from home, that it will motivate him even more. I believe the same with incorporating background knowledge. This instructional teaching strategy would be good for John because it will help him make connections with his home life and school life since they are very different. This may help John's interest in lessons and make him more excited about what he's learning. It would also probably make learning more meaningful to him. Contextual supports would be another useful tool to use with John since he is in an upper grade level. This requires even more understanding because there are not as many pictures and visual clues while reading as there are in lower grades. Contextual supports might help John get a clearer picture of his assignments. Vocabulary and comprehension should be a main focus when furthering John's learning. Since he is already a good English speaker, working on vocabulary and comprehension will further strengthen his English and his understanding of assignments. Teachers can help students like John to learn new vocabulary by providing images and connecting the words to experiences in their students' lives. Using multicultural literature can also help pique interest in EL students like John. The last instructional strategy I would use to help John is measuring his performance. Monitoring his skills, make sure that he's on the right track and progressing forward. It is important to remember that when assessing ELs to use a variety of methods because they may be better at expressing themselves in different ways.
I interviewed an English learner at Washon Elementary that I'm going to refer to as Jay. Jay is a kindergartner who's only 6 years old. His primary language at home is Spanish. Jay grew up speaking only Spanish and didn't learn English until he started playing outside with other kids who only spoke English. Jay lives in a family with a mother, a father, 3 brothers, and 4 sisters. He is the youngest of the family. His family likes to celebrate Christmas and Dia de los Muertos, and his mom is often throwing parties. He is very family-oriented, and he did sleep in a crib as an infant. His family does go to Mexico every single year to go visit his grandfather. They also go to the beach, and he's in a special class that he refers to as DJ class. He does have chores at home. His chores are to do the dishes and to clean his room. He says his family has other chores too, but he's not allowed to do them quite yet. His mother makes him dinner every single night. His favorite foods include tacos and hamburgers. At school, he likes to play outside a lot, and he really enjoys going to the library. He is a very social student, and he does talk with students who speak English and Spanish. The benefit here is he's able to talk to the students who don't know English yet, but he also does speak a little bit of English to them too. They haven't yet quite figured out what he's saying though. His favorite TV shows include something he refers to as Max and Rooster and SpongeBob. Both of these shows and a movie are in English, so he does watch TV in English at home, but his family does not speak English to him at all. His parents own a business. They own a store together. But when I asked him what his parents did, he referred to it as his dad makes plastic plates and delivers them, and his mother does parties. His brothers and sisters do work with him as well. Jay works with them too, sort of. They taught him to count money, and that's how he became so good at math. His favorite subject is math at school, and it really shows because he was able to count farther out than some of the other students in our class. Jay says his family likes to go on runs and walks together, and he always makes sure to eat broccoli. Some fun facts about Jay include he likes to play Fortnite a lot, and school is his favorite place to be. 3 ways that I would help this English learner help understand English better would include using pictures to help define new words that are unfamiliar with him. Secondly, I would make sure to reuse these new words periodically to help him become very familiar with the words. And lastly, when teaching him new words and vocabulary, I would help him learn to feel his mouth and how he's saying the words to make sure he's pronouncing them correctly.
The student I interviewed is a standard English learner. His home language is English. He has his family values and traditions. He celebrates Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July. When it comes to family and friends, he says he only sees family when it's holidays or birthday parties. Family outings include going to church on Sundays and then going out either to the park or to have some ice cream. When it comes to household chores, he says the only chores that he does is outside with his dad. When they do yard work, they rake leaves, or they cut the grass. For educational activities, he says that they sometimes go to the library when mom has a chance to take them. When it comes to his favorite TV shows, he said he loves watching anime, but he does prefer reading them. He said he did read a couple of the Amulet books, which he was really excited to share. Also, mom is a stay-at-home mom while dad does work at a factory. And for his scientific knowledge, he was telling me about how in his class, their 5th grade class, they learned about biomes. And so he had selected his biome, and he was telling me about the geosphere aspect of his biome, and which was really interesting. When it comes to 3 instructional strategies for standard English learners, teachers giving clear instructions really helps them understand throughout the day and they know what they are doing. Also, teachers having a predictable routine for them to stick on, so they have their routine and their day planned out on the board where they could see it. That way the student is not anxious about the day or caught off guard about what is going to happen. Another one is the Freyer model, which is a graphic organizer where they can build on their vocabulary. They will put their vocabulary word in the middle, and they would have space around the word where they could draw an example or a non-example of that vocabulary word for them to understand it at a much greater level. This also helps them to understand and build their vocabulary.